I met C.W. Johnson at the Central City SRO Collaborative, where he works helping residents of SROs, single-room occupancy. C.W. relocated to the West Coast in search of himself. He was living comfortably in Golden Gate Park until his home was discovered by police. That's a story in itself. Recently, C.W. received a job promotion and is now living in his own apartment.
My name is C.W. Johnson. I have lived here in San Francisco for about 30 years. What I do now, I'm a tenant organizer and a lifeline organizer. Originally, I was a tenant organizer in my building at the Isabel Hotel. I wanted to make some changes in my hotel, and so I applied for the job here. And unfortunately, I got diabetes type 2, and I had to slow down from doing door knocking and things. So what they did was move me over to doing Lifeline, which is a program for people who don't have very little money. They can get on a government program. They can get a free phone from the government. Of course, you probably have seen them all over the place. And so what I do is when they get in trouble or they need help, I help them go through the process of making sure that they can get a phone, as well as take care of some of the problems if they have bills that have been too large for obvious reasons. So that's kind of what I do. I kind of a lifeline broker. I make sure that my people don't get cheated or ran over. What happened with me was that I was 13 years old, experiencing mental health issues. And I lived in the suburbs of St. Louis, Missouri, Normandy, Missouri. I grew up in pretty much an all Caucasian American neighborhood. So we were, for at least 10 years, we were the only African American family in that neighborhood. When I started experiencing these problems at 13, there was really no one to talk to. I couldn't talk to my family, couldn't talk to the school teacher. So I went from a straight A student to pretty much dropping out of school because I had all these emotional, physical issues going on. Excuse me. And had no idea on how to deal with it. So it caused me to run away, and I did that for a few years, and they kept bringing me back. But after 17, I came to San Francisco for the first time, and that's when I first really experienced homelessness. Didn't know about the services, didn't know where to go, just kind of ended up sleeping on the streets till I got a shelter bed. And once I got a shelter bed, I was kind of in and out of San Francisco for years. And then this last bout, I would say maybe 38. I just got too tired to go anywhere and run. So I decided, it's time for me to stop playing the homeless game, because I was basically homeless by choice. I wasn't homeless because I had to be. I could always go home. And so for homelessness for me, in a sense, was not the same. I didn't experience it the same way. Even though I went through the same things, I always knew I had an anchor. And then I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs. I was never caught up in that. I had my own mental health issues, so that was more than enough. Kind of went in and out the hospital, and decided that, somebody came by and said, you know what? The hot team came by and said, man, we want to give you a place to stay. You're always working, you're always doing something, you're always volunteering. So obviously you don't want to be homeless. And I thought about it, and I got into a shelter. And then once I got into a shelter, I saved some money up, and then I got into a room. And I was there for about 13 years. Some of the things I experienced being homeless is getting beat up in my sleep, being attacked in my sleep. I stayed mostly in Golden Gate Park when I was homeless. I had a tent. I never did anything what we call normal. So I was never the normal homeless person. I had a generator, I had a tent, I had a refrigerator, a little small refrigerator. I had me a little electric skillet. So, and I had it really great because I had 2 or 3 people, we would watch each other's back. And so it was cool for a while, but then the dogs, the police started going in the Golden Gate, and one day I wake up and I got a big old dog sitting on my chest, and police going, don't move. But they didn't do me like everybody else. They actually laughed. They was like, And when they seen all the stuff that I had and the way I had everything set up, they simply just sat there and laughed. They could not believe that I was watching TV. Like a small little portable TV, and they was like, this guy, what the? This is better than my living room. So they got a big kick out of it. They let me pack my stuff up and I put it in storage. And so going to that shelter was a really good experience at first. And then they moved some of the key people out of the shelter. The shelter I was at was 8th and Howard, called The Sanctuary. And they had this really great, two great guys named Anthony. Barbara Garcia was running it. And they had Louis, which pretty much ran the day program. So when these three people eventually left out, it became more of like a prison. And the attitude changed, and the way they dealt with you changed. So I had about $4,000 or $5,000 saved up. At that time, you could actually save up money. There was no charge for staying in the shelter. There's a charge to stay in the shelter now. And so I was allowed to save up money, and I ended up getting me a really nice place, like I said, at the Isabel Hotel. Really great place. I stayed there for like about 13 years. Eventually, I was working back off and on, plus I was receiving SSI. Eventually, I ended up working here, Central City SRO Collaborative in San Francisco, California. So I was working here for 3.5 years, going on 4. And then I got a job with the San Francisco Pier Base Warm Line. I just recently got a job with them. And what the Warm Line is that a place where people who may be having emotional problems or experience emotional problems or just want to talk about their day going through stress can call us and we will talk to them. And we will try to comfort them. And we will try to just give them a place to have a voice. We don't tell people what to do. We don't give people advice. But what we do is we encourage them to work through their own problems and we'll help them come up with their own solutions. Because no matter what we tell them or what advice we give them, it still has to be them taking care of themselves. We just give them an avenue to do that. And so between that and working here, I no longer have to worry. I'm no longer on SSI. So I'm pretty much, I went from being homeless in Golden Gate Park, traveling all over the country, because I was a lumper, which is someone who works on trucks, loads and unloads trucks, keeps the drivers awake. And I was making anywhere from $75 to $200, depending on what I did. If I kept the driver awake and I unloaded things, I could make anywhere from $150 to $200. If I was just going along for the ride, that's like $50, $75. So that was a kind of way I got around. You know, I've been to 28 states, been to a whole bunch of counties, but San Francisco I consider to be my home. It's where I came here when I was 17, and even though I left off and on, I've always managed to come back here. San Francisco always embraced me and pretty much took care of me and helped me get my life together. So I think if it wasn't for the services in San Francisco and for all the places you can volunteer and all the places that you eat, I don't think I would have made it as a homeless person. I think could have froze to death. A couple of my friends had did that. Could have, starved. Could have, been in a bad neighborhood and got shot. So I was very lucky and my story is kind of unusual because it was, at one point I would say volunteer, but at some point you have to be realistic saying, why are you homeless? And then I'm homeless because I'm dealing with mental health issues and that I'm not really dealing with. And so San Francisco allowed me to get the help. I went to a place at Sunset Mental Health and they helped me kind of, medication, therapy. And so that's pretty much what my story is. It's surviving. I think they need, more than anything, is rest, hope, and direction. What I mean by rest is that a lot of times these people are kicked out at 6 o'clock in the morning out of the shelters, and then they kick right back into the neighborhood where they may do drugs, or in the neighborhood where they may be picked on or bullied, or took money taken from them, or police are harassing them. they need a place where they can rest. They need guidance, and they need to be asked, what is it that you do? What can you do? What would you like to do? How can we help you achieve that goal? I think we really need to have a real conversation with people. And you'd be surprised with dreams and hopes and what things people. I've met people from all kind of walks of life, and all they needed was someone to listen to them and not write them off as crazy or stupid or lazy. And they would find artists, they would find mechanics, they would find medical people, they would find people from all walks of life, they would find out-of-work actors, they would find everything on the spectrum of the rainbow. Do we have hardcore homeless? Yes, we have a few hardcore homeless. Do people really want to be homeless? I don't think so. I think, let's say, we really need to talk to these people. We really need to have a place where they can rest, and really need to have a place. We need a guidance counselor, or let's say a guidance person for every shelter to say, okay, what is it that you want to do? How can we get you there? And what will it take? And then we need people to just care and donate. You know, people donate for all silly reasons. We want to put up a Blue Cross on the wall, so let's donate to that. Why don't we donate to some humans for a change? You know, and come out and volunteer and come out and talk to some of these people. Actually have a conversation. I think if you have a conversation with someone who's homeless and they like, somebody really wants to listen to what I got to say, I think that'd make them start feeling self-importance. I think what I did, I had given up on myself. I'm just being honest. And my self-importance went down until someone talked to me and said, oh, you can do this. I can help you do that. When someone started having a conversation with me and let me know that I was still a human being.
Who was that person?
Well, Awena, I can't think of her last name, but she was a counselor at Sunset Mental Health. And her name was Awena, but I can't think of her last name. Yeah. I was sitting in the chair, she came up to me and she said, here's a broom. And I looked at her like she had lost her mind. She said, you can't sit here and do nothing. You're a human being, you gotta do something. So she gave me a broom, and that broom is what got me here. Because they pay me $3 a day, you know, every day I'm there to sweep, just to sweep up. Just sweeping that broom really got me to want to interact, want to talk to people. And so it swept me from there to here.